You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
Hey, this is I Am Refocused podcast, and today we have an awesome show. We have an entrepreneur, Miss Emily Hirsh. She is the industry-leading Facebook ad manager and sales funnel strategist, and we're going to talk about what she does. So let's get right back to Emily right now. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. So you're an expert in this marketing. So tell us a little backdrop about you and how did you get involved into what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I actually started 3 years ago. I was introduced to the online world because I was a virtual assistant to start. That's how I kind of realized that this was all a thing. I was pregnant with my son and needed to come up with a way to make money and not have to put him in a daycare. So I started as a virtual assistant, self-taught myself everything, and then started doing Facebook ads for those clients on my own, became fully booked out doing that on my own, and then essentially started growing a team about a year and a half ago, like really seriously. And that's pretty much what I focus on all of my time now is my team. I now have a team of 20, 8 ads managers, and we have over 60 clients on our rosters that we do Facebook, done for you Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and basically sales funnel strategy and implementation.
Wow, all that because you had one of those moments, I need to make some more money.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to entrepreneurs and the businesses that you help, what's some of the common questions that they come when they come ask for your services?
Well, a lot of the entrepreneurs we help are higher level, and they've worked with in the past an agency or an ads person and sometimes had a bad experience or are looking for more higher level strategy. So I think some of the biggest things that people coming to us, most of our clients don't want to do it themselves. That's why they're coming to us, and we're with the team. I have a higher level agency, so people are really ready to outsource that. But I think a lot of people are wondering, will this work for me? Or is Facebook ad changing so fast? Will it work for me? So I think the biggest thing that we have that we've created that we show our clients is, and the reason why we keep on growing and have 60 plus clients is because you have to constantly stay at 2 steps ahead of the trends in marketing and what's happening. And that takes really, Facebook alone changes all the time. So staying up with Facebook and then testing new strategies and never getting into this rut where you're doing the same exact thing every day is key. And I think a lot of ads managers and or other agencies, they get into that kind of position where they manage the status quo for clients, but as eventually that saturates or it stops working, or you could still be doing better. And so that's probably the biggest thing people coming to us to work with us are looking for, because they either didn't have that or had a bad experience in the past.
And with your company, you're not just people trying to test some different strategies on Facebook. You have proven key ingredients to really give your clients the edge. So without giving your secrets away, what's some of the wrong things that you see other companies doing for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so we have a 5-step process that I created called the Hirsh process, and I ultimately created it because I needed to learn how to train other ads managers on my team. And it was one of those things I'm sure many entrepreneurs can relate, where you say nobody can do this like I can do this. How am I going to find somebody to serve my clients the way I am? So I created this 5-step process to really break it down very simply, how we look at marketing and all the levels. And I think that the biggest mistakes people make are not doing all these things in the process. So if you want, I can just say what that, there's basic steps. So the first step is strategize, and that's one that people miss all the time. And so one of the biggest mistakes I see is people start just boosting posts or doing a page-like campaign because they know they should be running Facebook ads, but they don't have this strategy in place. And our philosophy and thinking behind it is you need to have a big picture funnel strategy in place. You need to know really in a deep level who your ideal client is, the problems that you solve with your content, how many people, how many leads do you need to get in, what can you pay for that cost per lead, and then how many sales should you get with those leads. And if you can't describe that, and really like you're not clear on that before you turn ads on, it's just setting yourself up for failure and or feeling like you don't know if it's working or not, which is a comment I get all the time, is like, I have no idea how to run ads, and I've been running ads and I don't know if it's working or not because they don't have like a solid piece of data. So that's a big thing that people skip over that, when they start ads. The next step in the process is visibility. And so this is one of our core pieces that we have for our clients, which is making sure that both your time and your money, like 10% of it, goes into Facebook Lives and just value content for your customers. So that you could build your brand and build your following and then ultimately retarget those people down the funnel. So the visibility piece, a lot of people skip. They go straight to the lead generation. And that means so a lot of our clients, I don't know your whole audience, like what they'd be running traffic to, but we have a lot of clients who are running traffic to things like webinars or lead magnets, and then ultimately selling digital products or services. So if you skip the visibility piece, you're basically, putting something out there, asking somebody to sign up for a webinar, and they may not know you, which is going to result in the high cost per lead and probably a lower sale. So that's step 2. And that's also a big issue that people skip. And I also encourage people and always tell them, if you go look at other influencers out there who you follow, have a big following, like look at how much emphasis they put into putting out value for their following, and not just selling. And so that's really important. And then step 3 is lead generation, which is where most people start, which is just getting those email leads to sign up for ultimately a funnel that they go through, but actually getting their contact information. Step 4 is sales, which again, people miss this step. So they focus all on the lead generation and then they hope that they buy. But there's very strategic ways with Facebook ads that you can have retargeting ads. So if somebody signs up for something like your webinar or your funnel, you can then show them specific ads for whatever the next step is that you want them to do. And it's pretty inexpensive to do that because you're working with a small audience of people who have, taken a step already. And then step 5 is scale and optimize. And that just means looking at the data, looking at all the pieces of your funnel as a whole so you can see where there might be gaps or holes that you need to fix. And then also you're able to make decisions to scale if you're constantly looking at that, and analyzing the numbers, because really marketing is all just about that.
And say there's a company out there, a small business owner, and he says, man, I would love to use their services, but maybe I'm not ready. What's some of the things that they should do to prep themselves before using your service?
I always say the first thing that everyone can always do is just start with that visibility piece. So start getting on Facebook Live, putting yourself out there on video, building your brand, and maybe even putting some ad spend behind it. It's not hard to promote a Facebook Live. I mean, you can even mess up and still do a good job, promoting it. So start building that visibility piece, because then once you're ready to actually use a service like ours, you have this audience to start to work with and this data of people who have been watching your videos and engaging with you, and it'll make it a lot more successful. And just like that one piece of, and I say video over and over because it stands out more than anything, especially if you're an online business, is so important that you consistently do that. And anyone can, start with that and do that.
And the most important question that most businesses are going to ask is, what is the timeline for me to see return on this investment?
Yeah, totally. Obviously, that depends on how much data you already have of what, people going through your funnel. A lot of our clients have at least had some sales organically, so we can kind of project what is going to happen when we drive 1,000 people into the funnel. But I always tell people the first couple of months, if you're just starting ads, if you break even, you're doing a great job, because what you're also doing, especially if it's your first couple months running ads, is you're building a list of people and you're building a following. And if they don't buy in that first month, they might buy in 5 months from now, and you've already paid to get them in your world and you can nurture them. So I tell people in the first couple months, if you break even, you are actually doing a better job than most people. And then by month 3, our goal as an agency is for sure that you're profiting. Most of our clients profit the first month, if not for sure the second, but we usually build in that 90-day plan. So when you come on to work with us, we actually create a 90-day plan with projections for each month and a goal. And by 90 days, you should definitely be profiting. And it also depends on how much you spend, because if you're spending $200 a month on ad spend, it's going to be pretty low volume. And so it'll be hard to get a lot of momentum. But if you're spending more and your funnel is working and you have that data to say that, you should be able to profit a lot faster.
And I love what you're just saying, because also this leads to this next topic we can do before the end of the segment, is we can't do everything as entrepreneurs. There comes a point where your business needs to be delegated to other experts.
Yeah.
What can you say to that one person that wants to do everything themselves and they have trust issues? What was something that they need to do to just get over that?
I mean, your business, you'll stay in the same place. And I think everybody goes through that feeling. Like I said, I created this whole process for my business in the beginning because I felt like, how could anyone do it as good as I can do it? So we all feel that way. But I've been around a lot of multi-7 and 8-figure business owners. And the key to success is really how fast can you offload everything you're doing so you can prepare for what's next, and so you can stay in a strategical role in your company. And so really anything you're doing that's like a tactical thing, so whether it's your Facebook ads or answering your emails or building web pages, like you shouldn't be doing any of those things. And so you have to kind of prioritize what's the best thing to outsource, what's taking you the most time or the most frustrating for you or the least of your skill set, and then give that to experts. And you can't be an expert on everything. So you're probably not an expert on Facebook ads, so it's actually hurting you to an extent to try and do it yourself.
We are talking to Emily Hirsh, and don't you touch that smartphone, man. We are coming right back with more content. In the next half, I'd love to talk about some graphic design that your team does and some of the social stuff, like what's really popping on different platforms. So if y'all don't touch that smartphone, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Rockafellas Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockafellas Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Rd. My phone number is 210-782-5188. And again, we do walk-ins on Sundays. You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast on iHeartradio. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning our business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hey, welcome back. You still listen to I'm Refocused podcast. We are talking to a very special guest, Emily Hirsh. She's the CEO of Emily Hirsh Inc. And we're talking all about marketing your business. Do you want to grow your business? Well, put your seatbelt on, because we're getting the best of the best in the game. So, Emily, let's talk about the first campaign that a client will have for your team. What is some of the branding and just process of allowing them to be comfortable when they give you the keys to go ahead and drive?
Yeah. So I'll just tell you kind of our onboarding process. And in there is obviously the branding piece, but also messaging is really big for Facebook ads. So the way it works is if you say, yeah, I want to move forward, I want to become a client, you fill out a pretty in-depth intake form, which gives us information about your funnel, your ideal customer, who they're following, questions you have. And then you do a strategy call with me or one of my senior digital strategists, where we really make sure we do that step one that I was talking about earlier in the Hirsh process, which is strategize. So we make sure the funnel is really solid. And then we also make sure we understand how many email leads we need to get in and how much money we're going to spend on Facebook. And then we basically summarize that and create goals so that we know what success means in your account, and we're tracking against that daily and reporting that to you weekly. And then from there is where the important branding piece comes, which is after that call. Internally, we'll meet. I have a creative director who manages all of our copywriters. So internally, we'll kind of meet on the direction and the strategy. And then the client will actually have a call with the copywriter so that my creative director and head of the copywriter can ask questions specifically about their messaging and their voice, because really that's probably one of the biggest things I see is that people don't go deep enough with their messaging and their ads. And so they don't stand out enough. And it's so important to do that because there is so much noise out there in the news feed that if you're not doing that, I mean, you're just going to be scrolled right by. So they actually do a call with my copywriter, which is great. And then she takes those notes and then we go and build out the ad copy and the headlines and we task it to our design team. Our design team takes any branding assets that you've given us. So we ask our clients to upload, fonts and colors. They also will go to your website and the funnel pages. If we're driving traffic to a webinar, for example, we really want to match the branding with that. So our designer will go and create that. And the thing with my team and how it should be is I've hired, experts of copywriters to do the ad copy and then design experts to do the design. And so they are, the best people to be doing it because if you're trying to do it yourself and you're not a designer or you're not a copywriter, which in the very beginning of my business is what I did. I was doing everything, as many people are, for my clients. I was like writing the copy and making the images, and those just weren't my expertise. So I can actually deliver better service by doing this. So we basically gather all those pieces, upload it into the Facebook ad account, and then we'll send the client a link of the actual Facebook ad. It's not active yet to approve it. And we start out by testing 3 different versions of creative to start. And then from there, those might take off and work great. Sometimes they don't, which means we rework the messaging. We get rewrites of copy. We try different images and we test everything. And because with every account, it's different. So we'll have all different headlines, images with and without headlines to test, sometimes stock images versus just like personal branding photos, short copy, long copy. So, you never know. And it's interesting in one account, what works in one account sometimes doesn't work for another client's account. So you can't really rule it out and say here's the magic formula.
And when it comes to Facebook ads, say someone will want you to manage their Instagram ads, because now you can connect your Facebook page and Instagram simultaneously. What's some of the tips that you have for clients who will like both?
Yeah. So Instagram, the key, and Instagram is, we always test that as well. The key with Instagram is that you make all the design and ads specific to Instagram. So it should be square photos. I mean, if you're doing an Insta story, don't just select the placement and have the ad go to Insta story, but actually make, an Insta story size image so that it blends in for the ad. Some of our Insta story ads are by far our top converting, both images and videos for clients, because I think people are watching Insta stories the most out of anything and any scrolling. So the key is making it specific to the platform. So Instagram is the square images, shorter copy, making sure the copy has white space. There's tools you can use that you can paste the copy in there to make sure, because Instagram's pretty funny with that, where sometimes the space doesn't actually show up. And then when you actually run the ads, keeping them separate, because if you combine Instagram and Facebook placement, it's hard to know what is and isn't working. So most of the time we have different ad sets, one for Instagram, other for Facebook, testing the different versions. And then finally, one of the huge things is that you can retarget your followers if you connect to your business page. So you can actually create audiences of your Instagram followers, people who are watching your stories, and then you can show those people ads, which is extremely powerful.
Yeah, I love on your website how you made a statement, do what makes you happy. And paraphrasing it, if you don't like what you're doing, then change that today. So I'm going to use that to say, if you haven't had great success with other companies, you might want to head over to emilyhirsh.com right now. And how can they start a session again with one of your team members?
Yeah. So on emilyhirsh.com on my website, there's a place to book in a call with my team, which is the best kind of application process to start with. We ask you a few questions and then you'll have a call with my team and, share about us and see if we're the right fit to work with you.
And when it comes to, you being this successful at this short amount of time, what has really gone through your mind from the day you said, man, I want to make a new path to where you are right now?
I mean, I never thought it was possible to do what I've done. I didn't even know this world existed just 4 years ago. So I think, some of my biggest takeaways is how fast I've been able to offload and outsource has allowed me to grow really, really fast and staying in my zone of genius, and then being really specific with my goals and just claiming like, here's where I'm going to be in a year, in 30 days, in 90 days, and just, then putting in the work. So not just saying, here's where I'm going to be, but then going and actually making it happen and breaking it down into actionable steps.
That's amazing, because not everybody has that clarity, and that's what really hinders most people to make progress just in life. So when it comes to your team, what's some of the short-term goals you'd like to see in the next few months to 6 months from now?
We are actually, I'd say like the biggest project that we are working on right now and launching is what we're calling our Dream 100 project. That's pretty cool. We have a list of like 100 dream clients essentially, and we're sending out packages to all of them that we've, it's taken a long time to put together, that it's all very customized. But one of the cool things in it is this card that when you open it actually plays a video. And so I'm recording a video for each Dream 100 potential client and actually looking at what they're doing for their marketing and telling them like what I think they could be doing, basically doing like this mini audit. And so we'll send it to them. It's like this branded awesome video card with a video of me and some other things. And so that's been a huge project that we've been working on, that this quarter we'll finish and send out all 100 of those.
And as an entrepreneur, how has your family and friends react to your recent move?
Great. Yeah, I have 2 kids now, and it's allowed us to have a life that's honestly like a dream life. I'm home with my kids and I have a nanny here, but I'm not leaving them, every day and away from them for 8-9 hours, which is amazing. And we travel and I can bring my work with me. And so, yeah.
And if someone wants to partner with you, how can they follow you on social media?
Facebook and Instagram are the best places where I'm super active on social media. So Hirsh Marketing is the Facebook page and Emily Hirsh is Instagram.
So this is a digital marketing agency. If you want to grow your business and your income, it's not just clicking buttons on Facebook, it's the real deal. Before we let you go, wrapping up this show today, what advice do you have for startups and entrepreneurs who not only can use your service, but as far as just them individually, how they should operate on a daily routine? What's some of your wisdom that you can share with them?
I think the biggest thing and advice that I'd give is to just be really clear and focused. Focus is really hard for us entrepreneurs who are especially visionaries. So, every single day I make a list of what my to-dos are for that day and then what the top 3 things are. And I don't work on 5 things at once. And that also goes for big projects. I have had other business ideas and side projects that I've worked on, and I've learned over and over again that how important focus is and how powerful it is when you put 100% of your focus and attention into one business and project.
Well, that's a mic drop right there. We are talking to Emily Hirsh. She is the industry leading Facebook ad manager and sales funnel strategist. And if you haven't hired her yet, you need to go to her website, emilyhirsh.com. And her Instagram again is at Emily Hirsh, and her Facebook is facebook.com/thesocialsolution. I want to thank you so much for taking your time for being on I'm Refocused podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, like we always say, guys, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.